You know, we talked a lot about, and we didn't, a lot of people did. It wasn't just us. The McCloskey situation, that was the couple that went out in their front lawn with their guns, started pointing it at Black Lives Matter protesters. There's no evidence to this day of one Black Lives Matter protester that was actually on their personal property. Yes, they were on private property. Yes, they shouldn't have been there. But with that being said, there's a reason why the McCloskeys have now been charged with a crime. But a lot of people.
And by the way, that prosecutor has been proven to be compromised.
Okay,
Brian.
so that's we're not talking about the.
And they were charged with a crime, and the governor pardoned them within a week.
Okay, so that's I'm trying to make it clear, and you're making my point for me.
Well, I missed that show.
That a lot of
the day
people.
That I wasn't here for this because I was I was out for quarantine.
So a lot of people on the right were defending the McCloskeys. In fact, I should say just about everybody. You heard them on Fox News. You heard them talking on Fox News. Everybody defending them on the right-wing radio. Everybody defending the McCloskeys. By the way, there's a reason why they were charged, because you can't point your gun at somebody unless you feel like your life is in danger, and those people were not on their personal property. But anyway, I'm not going to go through the McCloskey case again, but the reason why I'm bringing up the McCloskeys, JD, did you know that the husband of the L.A. County DA, Jackie Lacey, has been charged with assault after waving a gun at protesters, BLM protesters? Did you hear about that before today, JD?
I think I saw something very briefly on Twitter, but I haven't heard much about it.
Well, I tell you right now, you didn't hear it on Fox News, and you don't hear it on right-wing radio.
Let me ask you this. Have you heard about the man in Milwaukee, the black man that was killed 3 hours after going on television supporting Donald Trump, and who owned a shop that supported Donald Trump? Did you hear about him getting shot a couple hours after that? No, of course not. I'm just giving you an example of situations that,
I don't understand.
You're implying there's a bias involved here. And I'm saying,
absolutely.
And I'm saying there's a lot of other situations where there's also a bias involved.
Okay, well, and that wouldn't make it right. You always want to go to the other side of things. I'm saying what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right. I don't know, if you're talking about it, that's whataboutism, and we're not talking about that case. Right now we're talking about the husband of the L.A. County DA, Jackie Lacey. He's been charged with assault after waving a gun at protesters. Here's what happened. The state attorney general filed 3 misdemeanor charges Monday in Los Angeles Superior Court against David Lacey for assault with a firearm. What they're saying is that he's 66 years old, African-American man. He pointed a gun at demonstrators Black Lives Matter demonstrators, by the way, who protested outside the couple's home before dawn on March 2nd and said, "I will shoot you," according to video of the incident. But here is the difference. Here is the difference between, and this is why I would defend him. Here is the difference between what he did and what the McCloskeys did. Again, no evidence that anybody went on their personal property, the McCloskeys. They actually went on this guy's property. They knocked on his door.
Was it a private street?
Okay. I just told you, they went on his personal private property.
Okay.
Forget about a street. We're not talking about a street. They went on his personal property, something that nobody did in the McCloskey situation. So Jackie Lacey, as I mentioned earlier, who is the DA out there in L.A. County, she offered an emotional apology at the time, saying her husband told her he pulled the gun and told protesters to leave. But Lacey's campaign issued a statement as well. But you haven't heard anybody on the right defend this man at all. I want to play some audio for you. This is audio of the husband pulling out a gun on the Black Lives Matter activist who protested in front of their house. Have a listen to this.
Right now, get off.
Good morning.
Get off of my porch.
Shoot me?
I will shoot you. Get off of my porch.
Can you tell Jackie Lacey that we're here?
I don't care who you are. Get off of my porch.
We will get off your
right
porch.
now.
Can you tell
We're
me?
calling the police right now.
Good. Wow. He pulled a gun and pointed it at my chest. We're here for the community meeting, Jackie Lacey.
Jackie Lacey
Maybe
must
you'll
go.
shoot me in the back.
Jackie Lacey will go.
Jackie Lacey will go.
Okay, so obviously that's annoying, all right? I wouldn't want somebody at my front door banging a drum and demanding me to come out because they disagreed with something I said on the radio. I mean, it's annoying. I'd say get the hell out of here. I wouldn't have taken out a gun. I'm not defending this guy. I don't think his life was in jeopardy. To my knowledge, none of these Black Lives Matter protesters had weapons, but I am going to bring this up because I do think it's important. And maybe some of you will disagree with me. Brian, you're making it all about race. It just so happens that Jackie Lacey and her husband, who was charged, are black. The McCloskeys are white. Everybody on the right, and I mean everybody, I haven't talked to one person on the right that didn't defend the McCloskeys. Everybody was defending the McCloskeys. Keep in mind, none of the Black Lives Matter protesters went on their property. Here we have a case where you heard it. You just heard the audio where the Black Lives Matter protesters banged on their door while banging drums. The guy takes out a gun and says, "I will shoot you." Pretty similar in pretty similar in some circumstances. And it also shows no one is above the law, I guess you could say, even the DA's husband, by the way. So you can't say, well, it's all about politics. It's all about politics. This is the DA's husband that was charged. If anybody was going to get preferential treatment in this type of situation, it would have been the DA's husband, right? But not the case here. He was charged. So my question is, a question and a comment, JD. My question, and it'll be to the callers as well, at 702-257-5396. Why are Republicans and people on the right not defending this man? Why have you not heard about this? Why is it not in the mainstream media? That's number one. And number two, my comment would be, is it wrong to suggest that part of this might have to do with the fact that this man and his wife are black? The number to call, 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, 257-5396.
Here, I'll tell you why the McCloskeys got the attention that it did. Because it was a viral video, Brian. There was millions and millions of views on Twitter. That's not the case here. Something happened, obviously. I think that he was totally in the right with what he did. I would have done the exact same thing under those circumstances. But I don't think that the race of this particular person, I think it's the fact that California is a much more liberal state or Democratic state than Missouri is. I think it's just two different situations.
Okay,
there.
but again,
and you had three protests. How many protesters were there? Like 3 or 4?
Again, you
and
can
then with
make
McCloskeys, well, you're making comparisons, and you're saying that, well, McClosky's white and Lacey is black, and therefore black.
Which is true.
Okay, yeah, but how many protesters were actually at Lacey's house?
I don't have that information of the number of protesters.
It sounded like a couple.
Okay, but it doesn't matter.
We know for a fact that in front of McClosky's house there was almost 200.
Okay,
it was just a much bigger situation.
Okay. There was nobody on the McCloskeys' private property, and the reason why
they were on a private street. Brian, you live on a private street.
Let me finish.
Because you have an expensive home that you want to protect.
Okay,
because you've worked hard for.
Let me finish.
Or you spent a lot of money on it.
This is very important, and I'm trying to make this distinction. It's very important. There was not one person, while they were on a private street, there was not one person, there was no evidence to suggest one of those Black Lives Matter, there could have been 1,000 people out there. Hold on, let me finish my statement. There wasn't one person that was on the McCloskeys' private property.
Okay, fine.
Not one person.
That doesn't mean that you can't hold off 200 people. If a couple of them, it would have been too late. Based on what had happened in the past, they reacted based on what they had seen in the past happen to other homes and businesses.